Is there a side to Nick Walker that he hasn't been showing us? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, once again, I've always been a Nick Walker fan. If you watch my videos, you know it. I was a fan since he turned pro uh, in 2024 when he pulled out of the Olympia for the second time. This time for, I guess you could say he wasn't happy with the way he looked, but I do believe there really was more to that than we were ever told. I still remained a fan of his after a lot of people turned their back on him for the way he pulled out. Made a very spectacular showing at Pittsburgh and then New York. Disappointed us at the Olympia, a sixth place finish, and yes, you can argue that he possibly could have placed lower. I still didn't turn my back on him. I was still a fan of his just because he didn't place where I expected and I hoped he might place. I didn't turn on him, but then I heard the supposed, alleged, let's say, uh, situation with him and a couple of fans that didn't go very smoothly according to the fans' side of it. That changed my feelings about him somewhat, made me think twice. Never didn't hear anything from him in response to what was said. Then we heard Kyle Wilkes step forward and he gave his account, which was that he's been with Nick basically the whole time, and he didn't witness anything like that occurring. Finally, Nick spoke up, and after listening to him speak, and really made a lot of sense, at the end of the day, he's very, very smart selling his brand, and you would think that he's smart enough to know an incident like that can hurt his brand a lot. He would have enough control, no matter how he felt at the moment, enough control to not say the things that uh, were alleged that he said. Now you find out that him and Kyle Wilkes split up. There was a parting of ways, which that in itself is not unusual. Athletes change coaches. He wasn't happy with the Olympia placing. But listening to Kyle Wilkes in a recent podcast, first off, about the Olympia placings, prejudging definitely wasn't anywhere near Nick Walker we expected to see. Next day at finals, there definitely was a marked improvement. Whether that would have made a difference if he'd brought that same package to prejudging and to finals, yes, I think it would have made a difference in the placings. He would have placed in the top three. Would he have won? I wouldn't go that far, but I do think it would have affected placings, changed the placings. Kyle Wilkes took accountability for the whole thing. He did say that he wasn't experienced with that kind of situation. He's used to doing 1 day shows. The Olympia is a 2 day show. It's a different animal. And he learns from his mistakes and he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And then, on top of that, him and Nick, according to Kyle, spoke about this, about where to go from here, how to move forward after the Olympia. I think he specified the Tuesday after the Olympia, and the discussion was that we understand what went wrong, what the mistakes were. We're going to fix them. This is how we're going to fix them. And this is the way we're going to move forward. And Nick, according to Kyle now, was all on board with this. And then all of a sudden, while Kyle is in the middle of doing a podcast, he gets a call from Nick. And then during that call, and we'll give Nick credit, it wasn't a text, or even worse, it wasn't through a post on social media. At least he called Kyle and spoke to him personally, but said they were going to part ways. But then again, he also said that he wasn't happy with his Pittsburgh Pro look. Many people think that the Pittsburgh Pro look was his best look. It's kind of like with Jay Cutler. We had 2001 Jay Cutler. Then we have 2009 Jay Cutler. Both with Jay Cutler's different looks. You might argue that the 21 Arnold Nick Walker was a better look. It was a different look than the Pittsburgh Pro. Both looks were great looks. And for him to say that he wasn't happy with the look that he brought, right after the show, then he had the New York Pro the week after, it sounded like he was pretty happy with what he brought to the stage. And now you're saying you didn't like that look? And Kyle also said, and he didn't go into any details, he didn't specify what exactly it was, but he did say that this is not the first time he was burned, and he did use that word, burned, by Nick Walker. He said, I believe it was 2, maybe 3 years back. Like I said, he did not specify, but he said this is not the first time. And then he said, well, that's just the way Nick rolls. Now, listening to all this, I didn't know who Kyle Wilkes was before he was involved with Nick Walker. He's been doing coaching, not on this level, for a while. He's been around. He's competed. I just didn't know who he was until he was working with Nick Walker. But listening to him, I'm not a youngster. I've been around the block a few times, and just sitting back and listening to him, he's coming across as very, very genuine. And I tend to accept the things that he's saying as, yeah, it's probably factual. It's probably true. If what he's expressing is true, it's a side of Nick that we really haven't seen, but it's there. I don't know what to make of it. But one more word about Kyle. I'm I started. Subscribed to the channel that he does a podcast with. I can't remember the other guy's name, and I've been watching their stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised. We didn't know who Kyle. Most of us, I'm sure, didn't know who Kyle Wilkes was before Nick Walker. But I would not be surprised in a couple of years from now, we're going to start hearing Kyle Wilkes' name mentioned a lot more often. We might be seeing him with other name athletes, other athletes that do make it to the Olympia stage. Obviously, it's not going to be Nick Walker. Uh, that's about it for this video. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said, either way, let me know in the comment section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.